Hello everybody, Ace here, giving it to you straight with day 31 of the video log challenge, and today I wanted to talk about love, but in a way that we're probably not going to be too happy about. So, in my opinion, love has been weaponized against us. If you look at the diamond industry, you have a energy stone or a rock, right, that was basically worthless. Wouldn't say worthless. I mean, it had some value to it because it's the hardest stone in the world. Cut through steel. It's used to drill. They have diamond tip drill bits, especially for when you go deep into the earth when they're oil drilling. But in the 1900s, De Beers thought it'd be a great marketing campaign to manipulate people into believing that the only way to show a woman or a significant other that you love them is to buy a very expensive, very useless piece of jewelry. It doesn't even really contain that much energetic qualities in it, like lapis lazuli or like uh, rubies or like even onyx. You have all these ever different energy stones that can bring a lot of value to somebody's life because we are energy beings, but instead they realized that they could manipulate people into believing, into creating value out of nothing through a marketing campaign. And in my opinion, we've been marketed into oblivion the last 100 years. That's just one idea. Now you have this idea of my generation and marriage. You know, I think we're above 50% divorce right now, yet we're still getting married. We're still dropping tens of thousands of dollars on a wedding at the beginning of our relationship, putting us in a difficult position to start. Then we buy a house, so we go into another $150,000, $200,000, $250,000 worth debt. Then we get cars. Then we get this. Then we get that. Then all of a sudden, within the first 2-3 years that you're married, and then you throw kids on it, you throw dogs on it, you throw all these other things on it, and all of a sudden now you're $300,000, $400,000 in the hole in the first 5 years you're married. How could a marriage last with that much pressure? How could a marriage last when it was completely started in complete material wealth? So we've been marketed into oblivion to believe that materialism is love, to believe that a diamond equals love, to believe that a wedding, an illustrious wedding, tens of thousands of dollars with hundreds of people, is love. But in reality, there's only two elements that make up love. There are only two elements that make up love, and that is affection and attention. Now, how is affection formed in a relationship? This is where I feel my generation, especially because we have sex with one another before we even get to know each other's names, we don't have respect for one another because we don't have respect for ourselves. So we give our bodies away, we give our temples away to anyone and everyone because we want to be loved, but in reality, that's the number one way of constantly finding yourself out in the cold, without love, without someone that truly cares for you. Yeah, you could be in a relationship. Yeah, you could be with someone, but what's the point of being with someone if you're worse off when you're with them, if you're more sad when you're with them, if you're more stressed out when you're with them? But the idea of being alone to us is so scary because we've been manipulated by society to believe what love is. Love is marriage. Love is having someone there. There has not been any guidance on loving ourselves. It's not even talked about. It's always about me, 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 and what can you do for me, but I'm not willing to do any of that stuff for me. Therefore, I'm not going to even recognize the stuff you're doing for me, and then I'm going to be bitter and resentful, and I'm not going to love you unconditionally. Because isn't that what we all want? We want unconditional love. That's why we get dogs. And our children love us unconditionally, but we actually love our children conditionally. We only love them when they're being a good boy or girl. And you can hear it in the way you speak to them when they're not behaving the way that you want them to behave, because we don't have the capacity to stop and go, what's really happening with this child right now? Why are they behaving that way? Because everything's a victim. Everything's victim blaming. Everybody's a victim, and nobody can understand what the heck is going on because we're not bringing that affection to ourselves. We're not bringing that respect to ourselves, and therefore we're never going to recognize it in someone else, and we're never going to properly be able to give it. And because the way frequency and attraction works, right? We're only going to attract those on our same frequency. So if we're not giving ourselves love, light, respect, affection, then we're not going to be able to even attract those kinds of people into our lives, because even if that person comes and wants to be in our life, we'll find a way to self-sabotage that relationship because our energy doesn't match up. It may last for a year, it may last for 10 years, it may last for 20 years, but that relationship will not last because it is based in one party taking, the other party giving, and there's no reciprocity because they're at two different points on their journey. They're at two different points in frequency, and they haven't yet realized that the only way you can truly show someone you love them is by giving them your attention, by giving them your truth, by giving them your respect, by giving them your affection. Because in my opinion, attention and respect equals affection. And the only way that a relationship will start off properly is if affection is established early on. And the big issue with people having sex with one another too quickly before that affection is set in place, it's just lust, it's just genitalia fluff, right? There's no respect yet, there's no affection yet. That's how a guy can get up and just get out and leave, or tell a girl to go, kick rocks. Or a girl, say a guy doesn't perform up to her standards, she makes him feel horrible about it. There's no respect there. There's not a lot of respect in our culture. And there's not a lot of respect between each other, especially when we're very, very vulnerable in those states. And so we give our bodies away without respect being established, and all of a sudden we get triggered into a relationship with this person that we really don't have any connection to, we really don't have any affection with. There's no respect. All there is that genital connection now. There's all that is that I had sex with you, so now I got to be with you. Because again, that's also manipulated. That was manipulated in the old ways. Not so much now in the last 10, 15 years with Miley Cyrus wrecking balls, and I Kissed a Girl with Katy Perry, and now whatever the hell is going on with Madonna, and now it's really is just about fucking. Excuse my language, but that is what our media, that is what our entertainment, our music industry, that is what everything has led us to, is don't have feelings for one another, don't have respect for one another, don't communicate with one another, don't actually try to form love with one another, just bang each other, get your rocks off, get what you need from that person, and then bounce, and then go do you. But in reality, are you really doing you? In reality, is that what you really want? No, we're just being manipulated to believe that's what we want because everyone else around us is doing the same freaking thing. And without love, this world doesn't exist, but yet everyone tells everyone, I love you. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? When you say, or I say, or anyone says, I love you, if someone doesn't have love for themselves in their heart, if someone doesn't have love for something bigger than themselves, then what does that even mean? That's like somebody who is a couch surfer, right? And doesn't work. He's a vagabond. It's my new favorite word, vagabond, right? Yet he's going around telling all these people that he's couch surfing on, and he's vagabonding around that, oh man, I got this invention coming, it's going to be incredible. Oh man, I got this thing, it's the next best thing. Yeah man, you got to jump in on this with me, man, it's going to be great. That is literally the same exact thing as telling someone I love you when you don't even know what love is. It's empty. It's honestly manipulation. It's emotional manipulation, because that person is going to take it as if you mean it, but you don't even understand what it means. Therefore, how could you possibly mean it? So how could any relationship actually succeed and they haven't? And I'm included in this, guys. The only reason I have been able to come up with these concepts, the only reason I've been able to deduce the essence of what is reality, in my opinion, on this planet right now, is because I failed so many times. But instead of just smashing my face on a wall and going, huh, and then doing it again, and then doing it again, I started observing. So if I was going to make the same mistake twice, in not terms of actually how I go about doing it, but bringing in the same types of people, that's making the same mistake twice. Telling people you love them when you're not ready, allowing things to having sex too early when you weren't comfortable. Those are the things in a relationship that we compromise ourselves over, right? And so we compromise ourselves for someone else, and then we don't understand why there's a disconnect when our egos now have been offended by us, not by them. We projected onto other people, but our egos are actually offended at us because we didn't do what we need to do for ourselves. We didn't respect the fact that we wanted to wait before having sex. We didn't respect the fact that we wanted to wait before saying something as important and as energetic and as potentially manipulative as saying I love you. We didn't wait for ourselves because we felt that somebody else's needs, wants, and desires were more important than us. That relationship is already set off on the wrong foot. So now you're here. And now this person who's been put on this pedestal and this person who's putting the person on the pedestal, that is now going to be the relationship. And now the relationship is going to be a lot of this. And the person putting that person on the pedestal is going to gain a lot of resentment and bitterness. And the person on the pedestal, because this person's depleted, is going to feel like I'm trying to drag this person to the top with me. But in reality, it's the same thing because there wasn't respect formed. There wasn't affection formed because there wasn't time elapsed because we're in a go, go, go. Everything's got to happen now. I need to be married now. I need to have kids now. I need to have this now. Because we've been manipulated into believing that there is coincidence in life. We've been manipulated into believing that there is chance in life. Everyone says, oh, you never know when you're going to die. Yeah, that's true. But it's also true that if you follow the signs and the synchronicities of the universe, if you unlock your spirit, if you heal your body, if you do the right things at the right times, if you have solid relationships that you work on, you don't run away from, you're not going to produce the karma, produce the energy necessary to attract those negative outcomes into your life. Now, this may offend people. I'm going to offensive alert right here. But my opinion is this. When you have a major disaster that happens in someone's life, I'm not talking a natural disaster. Those are boss battles. Those are challenges. And those are also the Akashic blueprints that some people said at this point in time that I'm going to leave. So they get that they're at the point in time where there's going to be a major disaster. But I'm talking about car accidents. I'm talking about major injuries. I'm talking about diseases and conditions and sicknesses and cancer. Those are all things the universe does to get us to stop, to reassess the path we're on because we haven't been listening to the signs and synchronicities telling us, hey, not this way, hey, not this way, hey, not this person, hey, not this job, hey, not this house, hey, not this relationship, hey, not this, and that. But because we want to do it our way, and because we're manipulated even on a spiritual level to believe that the power of attraction, right? There's 12 universal laws. Yet they've built $1 billion industry out of just one of them that's purely based in the material. And they do not even describe to you how to clear yourself to actually manifest what you want. Because then that's the secret. Why do you think they call it a secret? And then they try to tell you that they're telling you the secret, but they're not. They're selling you the secret. They're upselling you the secret. And it's all bullshit. Just like the diamond industry and just like societal marriage. I'm not talking marriage, matrimony in general, under God, all of that. When you commit to someone, that's why for me the Marine Corps was so important, because I signed a contract, I had to go through it 5 years, and I had no choice. I couldn't quit. And believe me, I would have quit every day if I had the choice. Now, what I love about marriage is it forces people to stay in a committed relationship. But if you get married for the wrong reasons, for the material reasons, for the society reasons, for the I don't want to know what people think of me if I'm not married at 31, if I don't have kids at 35. If you fall victim to that, then that's just a distraction. Marriage is now just a coping mechanism. It's a distraction. It's to fill your time. It's not actually being invested upon with your love and your light and your energy the way that it was designed to be. And therefore, again, positive and negative. Nothing is right or wrong. Nothing is good or bad, positive and negative. But if people understood marriage, then why is more than half of us getting divorced? And then I think, what is it? I think the statistics are 50% of marriages, the first marriages fail, 50% of second marriages fail, and 66% of third marriages fail. But then on the fourth marriage, usually people get it right. Why is that? Why does it take 20, 30 years of marriages to finally get it right? Why is somebody in their 60s when they get married again and then they get it right? It's because they got right with themselves over those 3 or 4 marriages. It's they got right with themselves over those 40 years of being neglectful to themselves, of spending time worrying about other things that weren't that important. They became important, and therefore they attracted the right mate, and then together in their golden years, they're able to actually enjoy love, enjoy a relationship, and enjoy respect. And I noticed that growing up too. I had the awareness of watching so many people around me miserable in relationships, miserable at their jobs, miserable with life. And I said to myself, absolutely not. I refuse. Because I was already miserable when I was 7. I was already miserable when I was 13. And so I said, I'm going to go this way. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how arduous the journey becomes, I'm going this way until I figure it out, because I am not doing it that way. I want to be young and have vitality. I want to be young and have the money and time to enjoy this amazing experience that God in the universe has designed for us. I want to be young and be in love. Healthy love. So I said, let's go in. And I realized that early on, even when I was dating here, I couldn't allow other people to love me. I couldn't allow a woman to come in and actually love me. I just wasn't worthy of it. And my biggest fear was being cheated on. My biggest fear was being left out in the cold, abandonment issues. That's why we go into our childhood, so we can understand why we attract people into our lives that we attract. And then we figure out, oh, I don't like being abandoned, so let's work through that trauma. Now I will not attract somebody who's going to abandon me. Because we attract people, we attract the reflection, we attract the mirror of the person that's going to help us grow the most. But if we're helping ourselves grow the most, if we're our own mirror, then we'll attract our other whole, and that's when we can manifest together. That's when we can evolve together. That's when we can expand together, and that is what we all want. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I don't care if you were a man and you're now a woman, or you are a woman and you were a man. We all want to be loved for who we are. We all want to be loved unconditionally. We all want affection. We all want respect. We all want attention. We all want time, quality time. So why don't we have that? And it isn't because of anyone else. It isn't because of Joe or Marjorie or Cassandra. It isn't because of anyone else but us, because we're not willing to give those things to us and ourselves first. We have to be willing to love ourselves. But what is love? We don't even know what love is. It's been manipulated and used against us for thousands of years in all this folklore and all these mysticisms and all these books and all these novels and all these things. And all we ever do is compare and contrast our lives and our loves and our relationships to all the things we read, see, and talk about. Yet we're not actually engaging in the process of actually learning what is love. Baby, don't hurt me. But what is love? What is love to you? Love to me is attention and affection's only bred through respect, and respect takes time and energy and focus and consistency and frequency and discipline. It's the same things. It's the same things. The same things I preach about to help ourselves heal. The same things I preach about to allow ourselves to fly, to allow ourselves to bring more abundance in our lives. More abundance is more love. And all more love is, sorry for this weird squawking bird, it does it every day, at least for 3 or 4 minutes, and then it goes away. But anyway, affection, respect. But if you don't have affection for yourself, if you look yourself in the mirror, if you look at yourself when you're in the mirror and you go, ugh, you don't think your subconscious feels that? You don't think that your ego understands that you're disappointed in it? You are as much of an observer as you are an active participant in this life. So this life that you're living, it's basically a movie. This is also a life. This is also a relationship. This is also an experience that you're responsible for. Not anybody else's that we try to be responsible for, all these other people and things. But in reality, this is the only thing we're responsible for, and it's the only thing we neglect 24/7, 365, and then bitch, moan, and complain when we don't get what we want because we fall back into our ego and we're 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds scared, neglected, little boy or girl that was never seen, heard, or acknowledged. And we don't understand why our relationships suck. We don't understand why our relationships are painful. We don't understand why our relationships are not getting better. Because we are failing to go, how do we get better? How do I become better for these people? And what's amazing about that, especially if you're someone that gives, like me, empaths, right? Light warriors. The only reason you give to them is because you're refusing to give to you. And the reason you attract people that take is because there are people in this world that don't need you to give. Therefore, that's unattractive to them. So you're only going to attract a narcissist. You're only going to attract a sociopath because they're only people that are going to take what you're willing to give because that's what they do. And then you get bitter and resentful towards them. You get depleted. And then you make the narratives and storylines in our heads. And then all of a sudden we're freaking out again. And we're in these horrible abusive relationships. And now we're codependent. And now it's an addiction. Again, we're all drug addicts. So what is love to you? And how do you bring more love to your life? How do you bring more life to yourself? Love to yourself, more life to yourself. It's same concept, same thing. Love is everything. Love is everywhere. Love is a mosaic. And that's why there's a war on love, a war on our attention, a war on our minds, a war on our health. Because if there's one thing the dark entities don't like is love and light and happiness and smiles and joy. Look around you in this world right now. Look around you in this world right now. Do you see love? If yes, that's awesome. Keep going. Keep doing it. Keep doing the work. If you're resonating with these words and you're realizing, yeah, man, I've been doing all this work this year and I'm starting to love myself and I'm starting to feel good and my relationships are getting stronger. They were a little rocky there in a bit, but now, I thought I lost some people, but they've come back and I've actually brought in new people that really rise me up and they really elevate me and they make me feel loved unconditionally just for who I am. If that's where you're at, keep going. Let's go. Army of energy. Let's do this. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm talking about this. But if you're still in a state of lack, if you're still in a state of fear, which all fear is separation from God, I'll talk about that tomorrow. If you're still in miserable relationships, if you're still unhappy, if you're still in pain, if you're still suffering, you're not loving yourself. That's why I said in the beginning of this video that you're not going to really like this conversation about love because, again, I'm putting the onus back on you. I'm putting the onus back on me. I'm putting the onus back on each other for our own growth, for our own love, for our own affection, for our own attention, our own respect. Because once you start doing that for yourself, you'll then automatically do that with others and you will require nothing less. You expect nothing less. And when somebody crosses that threshold, when somebody crosses that boundary, you check them. And when they do it twice, they're done. And you don't feel bad about it. And there's nothing wrong with that because sometimes the point of a relationship is to cut it out. The point of a relationship is to move past it. But it doesn't mean ghost because then you leave that energetic door open. You leave the karma open, that karmic door open, right? So you have to go through the fire with these people. You have to tell them, no, the way you're treating me is unacceptable. This is how I deserve to be treated. And if you can't give that to me, then I have to move on. I don't blame you. I don't judge you. I love you. I respect you. I have affection for you. But I can't give you my attention anymore because you don't respect me and you don't respect it. And my attention is all I have to give. And all I have to give is enough. And if what I'm giving is not enough, then we're not on the same frequency and we can leave each other's lives. It's not saying forever. That's not saying even for a long period of time. Maybe a little distance will give us some perspective so that then we can move forward. But I love you all. I truly do. And this journey that I've begun years ago, I'd say 11 years ago, really started me on a journey, I guess, for love. Because I felt like I was decaying back when I was 18, 19. I'll tell that story before joining the Marine Corps. I'll tell that story sometime too. Very powerful. But I would say these last 2 years, I'd say last year, 2018 to 2019, I really opened my spirit up and allowed myself to have experiences and to do things I never thought I could do and to allow people to help me. And then over this last year, as I've been healing in 2020, it's been all about my human. It's all been about healing all the trauma from my past, letting go of all the old programs, healing all these old relationships, letting them go, letting them evolve, letting myself evolve, embracing who I've become, working on all these elements while my spirit's been floating and free and fine. So I know 2021, especially now with these videos, this is where I'm going. This is what I want to do. I want to help you all heal just like me. Not in the same way. Again, why being human is a framework. There's no roadmap. We're all different. We have different experiences, so our spiritual path's different. We have different life, so our human experiences are different, and our bodies are different. So it doesn't matter if you're a twin. If you have different thumbprints, you're a completely different human. You're a completely different being, and you're having a completely different experience. So I'm here just to guide, just to have conversations, just to be a soundboard, just to be someone that makes it feel like you're not so alone during a time that's very lonely. This healing journey is very lonely, guys, because everything's going to get turned upside down. Everything's going to be flipped on its head. Relationships are going to end. They may come back, but they may not. You may find yourself very alone for quite a long time as you go within yourself to heal. But embrace this community. Embrace people like me, like my buddy Sean Kelly over at How to Hero. Embrace Lori Ladd. Embrace Phil Good. These people are guides. They're guides for you on your path to reflect, to be a mirror, because we're just a little further along this journey in this life, not the spiritual journey in terms of eternity. Just in this life, we figured some things out. So use us, leverage us, and let us do our purpose. You're helping us by watching this content. You're helping us by engaging with us. Every time I get to answer a question, it fills me with so much love to engage with somebody and help them through this journey. So if you liked what you've seen and heard today, hit that like button. If you want to join the Army of Energy, hit that subscribe button. If you want to check out more content like this, I'm on Conspiracy Realist on Instagram. If you want to donate to my work, I'd be very grateful. It'd be very appreciative, and it'd help me go a long way. I'm on day 16 of DURT, and I don't know what else to say, guys, but my fascia is almost completely broken up. It's malleable now. My muscles are more supple. I feel more full, but yet I'm leaning out even more. A lot of that scar tissue's going. The Hemi-sync, the amount of self-regulation I've been able to have, making these videos this whole time, that's the reason I'm able to channel so well. I'm able to flow so well. I begin my morning with the Hemi-sync, and then I'm detoxing my body. I'm decalcifying my brain. I'm balancing my micronutrients. I'm increasing my pH. I'm doing all the right things. I'm doing the right work at the right time. And because of that, I'm able to manifest these channelings into joy for me, pure joy. So I really appreciate you all. I hope that you have a wonderful Wednesday. I hope these words inspire you. I hope they inspire you to take more control of your own path and journey. And if you would like to learn how to do that better, hit me up, send me a comment. You can find me on an email at damah.wolf, WOLF, @gmail.com. It's my pseudonym. And I appreciate you all. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.